my very, very young friends who are like in their 20s have come under attack by the Indian state. And I first want to say that actually I want to talk about the role of the VHP in this whole thing and why it's very important for those for this particular briefing for us to focus on the role of the VHP. So I'll just quickly go through some events and name a few people here. And all of us know that the VHP, through it's hydra-headed, RSS is hydra-headed, VHP is hydra-headed, and they get a lot of funding in dollars from the US. So it's very important to know actually what that money is going for. That money is going to just completely cause Islamophobia, uh, build a whole society, a culture of violence is penetrating deep into society. And this is something extremely scary about what's happening. And if that can be checked, I think it's very, very important. So it's very important to be very focused in this whole meeting. So what I want to say that in the run up, just I don't know whether this got highlighted, but in the run up to the violence in Tripura, 51 rallies organized by the VHP in just in Tripura to protest the anti-Hindu attacks in Bangladesh. I'm not going into them because I heard one of the speakers mention it, and of course all of us know that the various incidents of violence. One group puts it at 16 mosques, being there were 10 total incidents of violence, vandalizing 16 mosques, burning down shops, etc. So, I mean, on the 19th of October, you have actually a press conference done, an online press conference done by the VHP people from Delhi, and giving a call that that on the 20th, there should be a nationwide protest against what's happening in Bangladesh. And what happens then is these various rallies in Tripura. So the speeches in the rallies are something like this: if Hindus in India unite, Muslims, who constitute 15% of the population, will not be able to even survive 15 minutes. And this one of the leaders told the crowd, and this was happening in Dharmanagar, the second largest urban locality in Tripura, where the war cry Jai Shri Ram and Jai Bhavani. These, were actually these are the war cry which allowed for escalation in violence, and there were a series of such speeches that were given out. So there is Sudhanshu Das, who's an elected MP from Fatik Roy, where the first case on Samriddhi and Swarna happened. There, such a call is given. On social media, such provocative messages, you see them on 17th of October. So on the 8th, and then on the 18th of October, you see one of the organizations, Hindu Jagran Manch, that organized a rally in Udaipur, where the second case on Samriddhi and Swarna happens to protest the atrocities. Again, there is this, call given to attack Hindus. Uh, and of course, they show these images, a lot of them are fake. They show images of Bengal, you know, and some of those images are from other places. And they say that you want this to happen in Tripura, where they're trying to show that idols have been desecrated and things like that. So this kind of violence goes on and on. What I'm trying to say is that that there is solid evidence to prove that the VHP is directly involved, and through its various organizations. It is, I mean, I don't think I have so much time to go through a lot of what the VHP statements are saying, what the VHP various social media handles are saying. It's very evident.
Unfortunately, I have one more
Uh,
minute actually. Sorry.
yeah, so I just want to end. Just give me a moment. Just a bit. Um, Yeah. So we try to look into some of the some of the organizations that were directly working on this. So there is this. There are two, three organizations: Sadhak, Ratnamani, Seva Sadan, Baba Longtirai, Sevashram. Now, again, very clearly, we found evidence of the people who are heading these organizations who are directly calling themselves from the VHP. On their Twitter handles, they're writing they're from the VHP. And definitely they had a role in the violence. The direct link we are still trying to establish. So, what I want to say is that the PUCL report, which of course talks of what happened in what happened to Muslims, but it also talks of how it is all built up. Now, for the same, suppose there is a misreporting, like it's not 102 URLs, it's 128 today URLs that are part of a scanner from Twitter via the Tripura, I mean, under the scanner of the Tripura police with Twitter, because of the kind of laws we have in India, just handing over information. So they send letters. Tripura police sends letters that we want everything about them, their details, including their browsing history. There is one young girl who did something, a very simple tweet about what's happening in Tripura, and she sent the letter that she got from Twitter, where the Tripura police, the Twitter says the Tripura police has asked for this, including the browsing history, and we will hand over everything if we are not prohibited by an Indian by a court of law. Now, of course, she can only protest, and within 72 hours, you have to do it in India. And most people have ignored these Twitter notices. So, what I'm trying to say that while 128 URLs, of which a lot of people are on foreign soil, including IMC, which is governed by the American law, but once the Tripura police is asking for who IMC is and all about them, Twitter is very easily wanting to facilitate that information. So what I'm trying to say is that two things. Number one, the role of the VHP is very much established, and that's something for you to worry, that those dollars that are coming to India are to finish democracy, is to cause an authoritarian state, to create a culture of violence, to kill Muslims, to create genocide. And today it's Muslims, tomorrow it's going to be Christians, and then Dalits. It's going to just go on and on. But secondly, there is just no privacy left within social media. And can something be done about it? How can we have, um, such social media giants just hand over information? Tomorrow it could be anybody else. It could be China, it could be Russia asking for information. And so therefore you just end up criminalizing people. You criminalize people because they report. You criminalize people because they just simply retweet, and then you cause a chilling effect. So I really think that as part of finishing democracy world over, social media is being used not just to create divisions, but to also somewhere encroach on our privacy, that we can't even freely do what we want to do. And this really clips my freedom of speech and expression. This has to be stopped also. These are the 2 points that I wish to make.